These are times referees ruined NFL history. And first, refs ruined the NFL so badly, it had an NFL legend calling it the worst call of an entire season. When the Chiefs were trying to make a late comeback, Travis Kelce was just running his route, and an opponent made contact with him first. Since Kelce literally did nothing wrong, you'd think when the refs threw a flag, it would have been on the other team. But nope, the refs called offensive pass interference on Kelce for setting an illegal screen, even though that didn't even happen and didn't affect the play. That had NFL legend Tony Romo pissed.
This is the worst call I have seen all year.
Now, I just wonder what he would have thought of way worse times refs ruined the NFL, like when refs ruined one game. 3 different ways. Bad call number 1 started with Tua when he slid to go down and got hit. Refs instantly assumed it was a dirty helmet-to-helmet hit, so they threw a flag and called unnecessary roughness. But that's when replay revealed the hit wasn't even close to being helmet-to-helmet. Tua barely got touched at all, and refs cost the Jets a chance at getting the ball back. Now, bad call number 2 happened later in the game when Garrett Wilson made what we thought was one of the best touchdown catches of the season.
And an offensive pass interference on Wilson is going to be the call.
Until refs really called pass interference on him for pushing off. Anyone with eyes could clearly see he barely got any separation, and the defender also grabbed onto him. But neither of those calls were as bad as the call that completely ruined the game. The Jets had momentum and were moving down the field until one play where they almost got the first down. Refs threw a flag while the play was still going on, then eventually called only one penalty, holding on the offense. You're telling me they apparently saw this Jets player tackle his opponent, but didn't see the Jets player right behind him who literally got his helmet punched off? Yeah, right. If anything, it should have been offsetting penalties, but nope, the refs ruined the call and the entire game for the Jets. But refs don't just ruin games. Their mistakes also led to the NFL beefing with a multi-billion-dollar company. It started with the Eagles punting when suddenly their kicker got destroyed by 2 players. Refs saw that and instantly threw a flag for roughing the kicker, which instead of just giving the Eagles the ball back, it became a huge mistake. Cause at first, refs only saw this replay.
Thought he had it and clips his left ankle.
Not this replay that came out after and was slowed down even further and showed the player actually tipped the ball.
Oh, it did. He got a piece of that. It's like his pointer finger, right?
According to NFL rules, roughing the kicker penalties shouldn't be called if the player touches the ball first. So after the game, the NFL didn't want to take criticism for the refs ruining the play and actually blamed the broadcast company Fox. They said the refs would have gotten the call correct if Fox sent them an enhanced view in time, but they didn't until a few plays later. That had everyone talking about refs creating this drama between the NFL and Fox Sports, which was crazy, because Fox is literally one of the NFL's biggest partners and is also worth billions of dollars. But refs didn't just ruin that game. They also ruined the NFL the time a ref helped a team get free points.
And they haven't so far as Heineke avoids pressure and heaves it deep. Samuel, the officials, and Samuel makes the catch!
That counted? Even though the ref got in the way? Man, that ref was stupid. But not as stupid as the NFL refs who made such a bad call. It got him clowned by the President of the United States.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
It's all because in the 2012 season, the NFL refs went on strike when they felt they deserved to be paid more, so the league had to bring in replacement refs to keep the season going. And well, I'm sure you can realize that was a recipe for disaster, because one of the worst calls in NFL history happened.
The game's final play is a Wilson loft to the end zone, which is fought for by Tate with Jennings simultaneous. Who has it? Who they give it to? Touchdown! Has to be looked at because it's a score. So that call has to be made on the field.
How does MD Jennings not get credit for the interception? I have no idea.
This is deciding who wins the game on this
After
call.
further ado, the call on the field stands. Touchdown.
Seahawks win.
They called that a touchdown? The ball was clearly in their opponent's hands. Should have been an interception. Game over. Packers win. They really made the Seahawks win on what was nicknamed the Fail Mary. Fans couldn't believe it and called the refs blind. Even President Obama got involved by calling the outcome of the game terrible. But when even the leader of the country is criticizing things, that was a wake-up call the NFL needed. So, just days after the worldwide controversy, they made sure they put an agreement in place with the official refs, finally paying them enough to get games back to normal for the very next week. And well, of course dumbass calls kept happening, cause in this next game, the refs made two horrible calls that gave Washington an L. Bad call number 1 started when Terry McLaurin was seen on camera asking the ref if he was standing in a legal position. The ref gave him a thumbs up. Then this happened.
Heineke takes Robinson inside, pounds it to the goal line. In for the touchdown. There is a flag down.
Illegal formation. Offense number 17. He was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. Therefore, he left the tackle uncovered.
He looked over to Johnson and pointed, which we often see receivers trying to gain confirmation. Yes, you're on the line. No, you're not.
Wait, so basically the ref lied to Terry just so he could call a penalty, even though it wasn't even the right call? Alright, well, the show goes on, and now they were an extra 10 yards back, but Washington, or the refs, had one more chance to make things right.
Thibodeau out of the play. Heineke throws. Incomplete.
Oh, a lot of contact there.
Wow. Look at Holmes. Holmes has been draped.
That is pass interference.
Dude was literally riding him, and all that cost Washington the game. Losing things can be stressful, like when some refs not only lost the team the game, they got a player fined over $50,000. Hold up. The first round of the 2022 playoffs, the Chargers were doing what everyone expected, beating the living shit out of the Jaguars. Touchdown after touchdown, they kept running the score up. And before anyone knew it, they were up 27-0. A 27-point game? This shit was, well, I thought it was over. But eventually the Jags started gaining some momentum. And 1,
In the pocket, fires, and that'll be caught for the touchdown.
2,
Looking under pressure, throws wide open, making the catch.
3 touchdowns later,
Lawrence protected well, going deep, has a man open again.
the Chargers began feeling the pressure of a comeback until a ref made sure to officially ruin the game.
Lawrence fires into the end zone, caught. Touchdown.
That wasn't just a normal touchdown. Looking at things from a different angle, Joey Bosa saw this player make a slightly early movement which should have been called a false start. Instead, the refs missed the call, the Jags scored, and cut the Chargers' lead down to nearly nothing. So not only did the missed call have Bosa smashing his helmet on the ground harder than I smash Latinas, that missed call caused so much frustration for the Chargers that all the momentum shifted to the Jaguars' side and led to them pulling off the largest comeback in their franchise's history to end the Chargers' season. So it had Bosa spazzing at the refs.
I mean, if I say something to them, I get a $40,000 fine. But if they blow a call that ruins an entire team's season, they're probably back in the locker room after the game like, got that. Oh, yeah, got him 15 yards. What a loser. I guarantee it. That's what they're talking like in the back. Power trip. I'm sick of those people.
And after all that, publicly criticizing the refs, even though they ruined the game and dude's entire season, the No Fun League still fined him $55,000. But fines and ruining a wild card game is one thing. Sometimes refs ruin NFC championship games so badly, their controversial call gets the NFL sued. It was the NFC championship. Rams vs. Saints, and both teams knew it was at stake. This game decided who was going to the Super Bowl, so there was no time to be f***ing around. And with everything coming down to the end, the score tied up, the refs let a player show off his head game.
Pass is incomplete, no flag.
Oh my god, I thought this was the NFL, not the HUB. Can't just be giving head on live TV. In all seriousness though, man's damn near gave dude brain damage and the refs allowed it. I'm sure you see why the entire stadium was furious. Not only should there have been a call on it being a helmet-to-helmet hit, it should have been pass interference too. So instead of them winning the game on that possession, eventually things went into overtime, leading to a game-winning field goal by the Rams.
And if Zuerlein hits this field goal, the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. The hold is down. The kick clears the line. And Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl!
But this is where things got super heated and led to the NFL getting sued. Because after the game, the NFL released a statement saying they knew they got the call wrong. No shit, you dumbasses. The entire world already knew the refs cost the Saints a spot in the Super Bowl.
CC, did the referees cost the Saints a chance at the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, it's fairly obvious it's a pass interference.
There's no question that it was a highway robbery here. The reality of the situation is that he was mugged. The ball was about 4 yards away when he got hit. It was clearly pass interference. Nobody's denying it.
I think it's going to go down as the worst non-call in history.
We didn't know the refs were going to be the 12th man for the Rams.
Call the police. We got robbed. Did you see that?
Even the dude who gave sloppy toppy knew he damn near got away with a crime.
I just was like, thank you.
You said for a split second you thought it was going to get called on you?
So with everybody knowing the refs ruined a game, Saints fans felt so robbed that a lawyer literally filed a lawsuit against the NFL, claiming the refs committed fraud and was seeking $75,000 in damages. Now, alright, of course dude wasn't gonna win that lawsuit, so at least God Brady stopped the Rams from winning their next game in the Super Bowl. But one of the worst ref mistakes ever didn't only ruin a game, it ruined a player's life. Everything started with a flag.
This is frustration right here. The official hit Orlando Brown in the eye with his flag as he threw it. You can see his eyes all swollen up. The flag hit him right in the eye, and the trainers came out to help him. He's got to come out for one play. When he tried to come back in, the official wouldn't let him come back in, and then he lost his temper, the same guy.
First of all, you should say this about Orlando Brown. We've met with him. You couldn't meet a more delightful guy, more of a team guy. He's anything but a troublemaker.
Exactly.
But he just lost his temper when he was hit in the face inadvertently by the flag thrown by the referee.
It looked worse than it was. He didn't hit him, he just pushed him, but it's still totally wrong.
And Orlando Brown freaking out like that seemed like he was just going over the top for no reason, but it turned out that the flag thrown went into his helmet and pierced his eye, so as he was escorted off the field and his face began swelling up, he was eventually rushed to the hospital. Doctors ran tests on his eyes, noticed severe bleeding, and Orlando had to get patched up, because now his vision was only getting worse until eventually he was diagnosed as legally blind, all because of that one ref. Orlando's life was never the same, and not only was he forced to sit out of football for 3 years, he barely played any more games before retiring. And the situation was so crazy, the NFL made sure their refs could never ruin someone's career like that ever again by changing their flags to be weighted with sand rather than metal BBs. So it's just ridiculous that refs can really ruin everything. But sometimes the refs mess up entire games so badly, it changes the NFL rules forever. It was on Thanksgiving Day, when the Lions and Steelers were putting on a holiday special for the fans. Both teams kept it close until the end, where the score was tied 16-16. Now, everybody's fate relied on the overtime coin toss, because not only would this determine who gets the ball, the next team who even scores wins. So, this was a huge moment, and you'd think the refs wouldn't mess this up, right?
Number 36, heads, tails, tails, heads. Call it plays in the air. Heads is the call. He said heads, it is a tails.
Oh, I believe he said tails. He did.
Oh, you changing the head. Which way you want to go?
Oh, man.
Detroit has won the toss. We'll receive.
That is clearly said tails. Everybody heard it, and yet the ref still gave the other team the ball in a situation with the game on the line. That ref must have been fantasizing about head a little too much. Hopefully that doesn't cost the Steelers the game, though.
Batch. Gonna throw down the field for more. Got it! Sanders to the 25. The Lions win it 19-16.
Ooh. And just like that, the game was over, all cause a dumbass ref ruined everything. Even the NFL knew he was an idiot, so a week later, they announced a rule change that captains in the coin toss must call heads or tails, and it's gotta be established what they called before the coin is ever flipped. The craziest part about all this, though, was the Steelers coach didn't give a shit about the rule change, or the fact that Bettis even called heads. All because of the loss, he never allowed his player to do the coin toss ever again.
For my role in all that, I got fired from the coin toss. Coach Cowher fired me, and so effectively that was the last time I called a coin toss. Unfortunately, that was a terrible moment.
Man. Everybody in this situation was stupid. But at least that time the refs only ruined one game. What if I told you the refs ruined 2 games in a row just to help the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? The controversy started during the AFC Championship, where it was a close game the entire time. And even though I'm a Mahomes meat rider, I wasn't sure Daddy was gonna pull off this win. Especially when the Bengals stopped the Chiefs from getting a first down late in the game, both teams started walking off the field, and the Chiefs were ready to punt. Until, for the first time in NFL history, the ref claimed the Chiefs got a free do-over play.
What?
I ain't never heard of that. everyone in the stadium, including the announcers, knew these zebras were tripping.
Oh, it's third down.
Why did we have fourth down?
Sort this out.
Listening to Ron Torbert, he said that the play was shut down. We may not have heard it here with the noise factor, but the play was shut down prior to that snap. The play runs completely out, and what Ron just said is we're going to reset this. We're basically having a do-over here, guys. We're going to have a third down play do-over.
Zach Taylor can't believe it because there certainly didn't seem any indication, just eyeballing it here, that there was anything other than a play in action.
Now, even though the refs gave the Chiefs a brand new play, luckily the Bengals got a crucial sack and thought the momentum swung in their favor. When out of nowhere, the refs stopped the play again by throwing another flag.
Holding. Defense number 20, 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Oh my goodness, this is so incredibly crazy right there what just happened.
Alright, now this was getting crazy, man. Regardless though, both teams' seasons were on the line, so they kept fighting until the refs ruined the entire game on this play.
Here's Mahomes rolling out on 3rd and 4. He's going to go for the, yes, he's got the marker, and he's got the out of bounds to stop it. And Osai was hurt as he hit the bench, and a flag's coming in to put him 15 yards closer.
Wait a minute, another flag? The refs really claimed Mahomes was hit late, even though he was hit as he stepped out. This was literally the softest call I've ever seen, and now that put the Chiefs in field goal range with a chance to win the game.
From 45 yards, all the way, it's good.
Game over. And because of all those ridiculous calls that led to that, fans literally created a petition for the world to sign for a complete game do-over. Hold up, let me sign this real quick. As funny as that was though, there was nothing the fans could actually do to change the outcome. All they could hope for was the Eagles to smack the Chiefs' asses in the Super Bowl. But little did the world know, the refs weren't gonna let the Chiefs lose that either. For a while, this was arguably the most entertaining Super Bowl I'd ever seen.
Loading up, taking a shot, he's got it! Touchdown! Throwing that way. Kelsey, the ball's loose. No one in front of him is going to score! And Jalen Hurts is in for the touchdown.
With the clock winding down though, and no sign of any bullshit calls in sight, that's when arguably the softest call in Super Bowl history happened.
Mahomes, pressure, lofting one, end zone incomplete. Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't catch up. There's a flag at the 10. Hang on, there's a penalty.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Yeah, that's worst case scenario. You'll see James Bradbury, they're going to say he grabs him. He's got his left hand on his back. I don't know. Mike, listen, I think on this stage, I think you let him play. Obviously, Mahomes thought he saw it. I think you let him play, finish this thing out. I don't love that call, Mike.
Dude touched him, and they called holding. You should have seen my face when in the biggest moment of the biggest football game of the year, they made that call. Even LeBron James couldn't believe it and was complaining. Everybody knew it was gonna happen next.
Butker up, got it!
The Chiefs went on to score, which eventually led to them raising the trophy. And all because they won from horrible calls, it had people getting drunk on live TV.
Take another drink. To luck. Let's toast luck for Shannon Sharpe. Let's toast bad calls. How about that?
Don't do that, Skip.
Here's to a bad call that marred one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. Congratulations, Shannon.
Go ahead, I'll finish it off.
Yep.
So it's just ridiculous that refs can really ruin everything. But what a ref did to Lamar Jackson is something I thought was impossible.
Dressed it, and they hit on Zay Flowers. Jackson is going into the end zone, and I think Jackson slipped over the umpire. They're going to throw a flag for grounding. There's a lot going on.
And man, he tripped right in front of Lamar, so not only did it cause dude to fall in the end zone, it still made it a safety, aka 2 free points to the other team for no reason. But what's even crazier is the time refs made a call on something that never even happened. Now, usually I wouldn't tell you to look at another man's feet, but as you can see, Amari Cooper was clearly in bounds, and the ref was right next to the play staring directly at him. Like, there is no way a messed up call can happen here, right?
Defense they're working against.
Watson on 2nd and 9, put some air under it, it's caught! Cooper breaking free! And it looks like the officials are going to mark him out of bounds right after the catch.
They really called that he was out of bounds, even though his foot was literally a foot away from the line. Even Amari knew he got robbed.
Definitely got robbed of the touchdown. Yeah, I didn't step out of bounds. I knew I didn't step out of bounds.
Do the refs even acknowledge the error at all after the replay?
I heard the ref apologized.
Hold up. The ref apologized, so dude just got over it? Nah, man. If that happened to me, next time I saw that zebra, I would have been like,
Down a run, and John Green runs through.
Regardless, at least the refs only made one bad call that time, and it didn't even cost the Browns the game. But there was an even crazier moment when refs made 3 bad calls in the same play, and it cost the Vikings an L. Now, honestly, I never thought I'd hear about a time the refs made right calls, then changed their mind to the wrong calls, until it happened when the Vikings were down just 7 points with only a few minutes left. They were trying to drive all the way downfield to make a miracle happen to tie things up against one of the league's best teams. But on 4th down, what could have been their final play of the game, they had no choice and went for it.
He's going to have someone make a play.
Boy, they are coming. Cousins just lofts it up in the air, and interference call is on the way against Snead. You can't believe it.
Yeah, that pass was incomplete, but the refs threw their little yellow flags and made the right call for once. Or so I thought. Because as you can see on the play, dude's hands were all over the receiver's jersey before he had the ball, and obviously that's not allowed, an easy pass interference call. Also, the throw itself was a big deal to the commentators because it would have avoided any flags being thrown if it was tipped. But since it wasn't, and the fact that there could have been even more flags thrown for how the Chiefs should have been flagged for illegally grabbing a dude's face mask, and because one of their players took his helmet off during the play, which should have been called for unsportsmanlike conduct, there's no way the refs could change their mind and pick up the flag. Right? Well, obviously the refs were smoking something, because after they discussed the play, they decided to just change their mind.
There is no foul for pass interference.
I'm speechless, man. After all the evidence, to make a call that ridiculous, ain't no way the Chiefs weren't in their parlay. That call gave them the ball and led to them winning. Now, all of that is crazy, but it still wasn't as bad as the time refs made one of the worst calls ever that not only lost the team the game, it also lost them their jobs.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
With barely any time left, the Lions scored this touchdown, which meant they were now only losing by 1 point. But instead of just trying to tie the game, which everybody including the refs expected them to do, the Lions lined up for a trick play to go for the win on a 2.
Play action. End zone. There it is. Unbelievable. The 2-point try is good.
And after that, the Lions were hyped. Fans were stunned. This man even realized he put a sombrero on for no reason, and Cowboys players were looking like they seen a ghost or something. Nobody in the stadium could believe what just happened, and neither could the refs, so they threw a flag.
What else could it be? So the call is an illegal touch?
The refs claim that dude who caught the ball, Taylor Decker, was an offensive lineman. And big boys like him are usually only allowed to block players unless they let the refs know before the play that they're going to be a possible receiver. Replays did show that dude clearly talked to the ref before the play, and maybe he was secretly flirting with dude or something. To be honest though, I'm sure in that scenario, he was just telling him he was possibly going to catch the next pass, alright? But the ref claimed he didn't report that, so when dude caught the game-winning pass, it didn't even count. After that call, I literally thought the Lions coach was gonna kill somebody. I mean, this dude was freaking the f out. Regardless, the Lions lost the game, and not only did it have the refs getting called out on live TV.
This is a huge mistake, but the thing that bothers me the most, we're putting blame on the players. Stop. The players did everything right. So quit blaming, quit covering somebody's butt, and tell it the way it is. Be a man and take responsibility.
The NFL announced that the ref who made that bad call, along with his crew that night, would not be allowed to officiate this year's playoffs because they were fired. Justice was served. Get those refs the f out of here, man. But as confusing as that entire situation was, I'm gonna be honest, the refs only get worse. Cause what if I told you that this ball, that's clearly on the ground, you see this, right? This was ruled a catch. Yeah, that sounds impossible, I already know. And to make the situation even worse, the refs ruined a team's Christmas Eve, literally a holiday, all because they gifted a call that made no sense with the game on the line, here on this play.
3rd and 4, extra pressure picked up. Low out there for Dobbs, and he's got it.
Oh my god, dude caught that? From my eyes, that was unbelievable. I can't even lie. But it was actually so unbelievable that the team it happened against threw a red flag. things were getting serious this time. They challenged that the catch shouldn't have even counted because he was so close to being out of bounds, but just looking at the situation even deeper, it raised a whole new issue. As he came down, he was bobbling the ball, aka never maintaining control of it, which would make it an incomplete pass. And as you can see, his right foot never touched the ground until eventually the ball did. So alright, just to add it up for you with some algebra real quick, ball plus ground equals no catch. Even the commentator felt like my math was mathing.
Dobbs did have control of the football as he hit the ground, and then as he rolled over, the ball appeared to come loose. He's got control. Now as he rolls over, you can see that ball pop loose right there. To me, that's all part of the catch process. This, to me, appears to be incomplete.
Now, alright, with him, me, everybody else thinking this was incomplete, it didn't matter what we thought. We were forced to wait on the verdict of the ref's decision on if they were going to change the call from being a completed pass. And well,
after review, the ruling on the field stands.
Man, at that point, I was like, okay, messing up one play, I guess it ain't that big of a deal. I mean, it ain't like it gave him a chance to win the game right there or anything. Oh, wait.
32 yards. Got it.
Yup, the refs struck again by handing a team another win. But just being real with you, man, refs don't only ruin games or give away free points. Recently, they even ruined one of the greatest plays in NFL history.
They're ruining the game.
At least that's what the headlines were calling it. The situation was a little weird because technically, the refs made the right call. But when even Mahomo doesn't agree with it, clearly the refs made a mistake, man. Come on.
It's the call, man, just in that moment.
What was about to happen in the game was something that pretty much never gets called. Offensive offsides. Players are always lining up over the line of scrimmage, which should result in the flag being thrown. But if we're being real and busting out the facts, players were only flagged for it once in 2021, twice in 2022, and even in 2023, players were offsides without it even being called. Now, alright, I know what you're thinking, Matt. Like, what the f does any of that have to do with Mahomes, the Chiefs, or anything you were hyping up earlier, you dumbass voice? Well, just calm down, man. I'm gonna explain it. It's all because the refs, for some reason, decided they were finally gonna care about making that call. In the worst situation possible, a moment that lined up for what was gonna be called one of the greatest plays ever right here.
I don't think they'll sit back consistently. Here they come again. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage as the pass is to an open Travis Kelce, who flings it back over to Tony. My goodness, this is going for a touchdown.
With one of the craziest plays I've ever seen, Kelce really caught a pass from his QB, ran through two dudes, then turned into the QB himself, and that led to his boy scoring a touchdown. Like, goddamn. I already knew that play had Taylor Swift wet upstairs somewhere. Until everybody saw a flag was down. The refs noticed something that crossed the line. Literally, Kadarius Toney. He was over the line before the play began, and if you forgot all my annoying rambling earlier, something as minor as being over by just a few inches usually never gets called, especially when that literally had no effect on the play whatsoever. In fact, dude was literally over the line multiple times in the same game, and none of those were even called. But this time, the refs called offsides on him, so I'm sure you know how social media works, man. They were pissed, and it got dude turned into hella memes like this. They were saying, here's how far over the line you'd be in his whip at a red light, and even saying this was Kadarius looking back at Mahomes when he was offside. Oh my god, man. Anyways, speaking of Mahomes though, even he was so pissed that he not only smashed his helmet and screamed at the refs, after the game, he explained it's because he felt like this play was so legendary, it should be part of the Hall of Fame.
To take away greatness like that, I mean, it's the call, man, just in that moment. It's not even for myself or for me, it's just I know how much everybody puts into this game, and for it to happen on a flag change the outcome of a game in that moment. I mean, I've played 7 years, never had offensive offsides called. Let us play the game. And then whatever happens, happens. I mean, it's just tough, man. And like I said, man, that's a Hall of Fame tight end making a Hall of Fame play that won't be shown because we threw a flag for an offensive offsides. And so it takes away from not only this game and this season, but from a legendary career that Travis has had. And I mean, that hurts me because I know how hard he works for it.
And Kermit the Frog was right, man. That play was great. But a moment like that was rare, because usually refs are always ruining the NFL to help the Chiefs. Like the time the refs helped the Chiefs cheat. Even though the NFL rulebook says only players and the head coach can call timeouts, the Chiefs were a few yards away from giving up the lead when the refs let their coordinator call timeout.
He can't do that. It has to be the head coach that comes down. Nobody else can call timeout on the sideline except the head coach.
That's never been allowed. Everyone knew that timeout was illegal. Even the Chiefs coordinator was apologizing to the ref for doing it. Regardless, the refs allowed it, which not only gave the Chiefs another chance to stop this next play, it helped them hold the Ravens to just a field goal, which eventually led to the Chiefs winning the game. And it's not always about the refs letting the Chiefs call timeouts with whoever they want. Sometimes the refs let the Chiefs get away with 3 penalties in one play. Because when the Vikings right ear threw into the end zone and everyone saw a flag, at first refs called pass interference on the Chiefs, which it clearly was. But not long after, the refs changed their minds and claimed there was no penalty. This had the Vikings coach about to crash out. Him and everybody not only saw a replay showing that not only was it clearly pass interference, and the Chiefs player took off his helmet, which should have been another flag. The refs even missed a face mask call right when the play started. The Chiefs literally deserved 3 penalties that play, and now 0 were called. This completely flipped the game from the Vikings potentially tying things up to turning the ball over and losing by a touchdown. But an even worse time that the refs helped the Chiefs literally made a grown man cry. This dude was tearing up because, well, his squad stopped the Chiefs from getting a first down, so both teams were walking off the field and the Chiefs were getting ready to punt. Until for the first time ever, the ref claimed the Chiefs got a free do-over play? Bro, what? I ain't ever heard of something like that. Anyways, even though the refs were giving the Chiefs another chance, luckily the Bengals got a sack and thought the momentum swung in their favor, when out of nowhere, the refs stopped the play again by throwing another flag? This was ridiculous, because this time it was for holding, which had the entire sideline stunned. Regardless, the game went on and both teams kept fighting until the refs did something to completely ruin the game. Because with barely any time left and the Chiefs out of field goal range, Mahomes tried running himself until he was shoved out of bounds. Now, alright, I'm no ref or anything, but touching Mahomes? Of course there was another flag. The refs claimed it was a late hit, even though he was pushed literally as he stepped out. So not only was that one of the softest calls ever, it gave extra yards to the Chiefs, set him up for an easy field goal to win the game, and had the player who hit Mahomes literally on the sideline crying because he realized the refs just cost his team a chance at making the Super Bowl. But sometimes refs helping the Chiefs get so bad, it loses a player $25,000. Yeah, man's lost that much because of the Chiefs and talking shit about the refs. Because during a close game, instead of this incompletion that should have forced the Chiefs to punt, refs said this play where Mahomes barely got touched was roughing the passer, which gave the Chiefs a first down. And it wasn't just a horrible call that even rules analysts completely disagreed with.
I didn't see anything there that supported a foul.
It allowed the Chiefs to get another chance, which of course they used to kick a field goal. Yeah, things were already getting crazy, and yet that was only the first time the refs helped them that game. Another moment came from Mahomes scrambling when he slid down and was hit. Refs instantly threw a flag for unnecessary roughness on a slight hit like that, which even had the announcers stunned.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 39.
Oh, come on.
They knew the refs were tripping because it gave the Chiefs free yards, which now led to a touchdown. So after calls like those eventually helped the Chiefs win, Texans players felt cheated by the refs.
You know how it is playing up here. You can never leave it into the refs' hands. But I mean, the whole world see, man, like what it is, bro. But it is what it is.
We knew it was gonna be us against the refs going into this game. And I talked to you guys early this week.
And of course the NFL didn't want Bronny James, or Will Anderson, to criticize the Chiefs' daddies, so they fined him $25,000. But the refs aren't always costing players thousands. Sometimes they save Mahomes from having the worst game of his career. He already had not one, but 2 rare interceptions that kept the game close. So when Big Daddy Mahomes threw another that would have given the Jets the ball with a chance to take the lead, oh no. The refs of course had to throw a flag on that one, man. This even had Mahomes acting cocky like he knew it was about to help him. They really called this a hold, and that not only turned a 4th and 20 into a 1st and 10 like magic, it took Mahomes' 3rd interception away that would have tied his record for most ever in a game. And if that didn't help the Chiefs enough, the bad call let them run the clock out so the Jets never had a chance, which of course had their coach pissed, and refs called a penalty on him now, like oh my god.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the New York Jets head coach.
But alright, if you thought the refs were deriding the Chiefs so far, oh my god, just wait, man. Because refs helping them win this next game not only had Mahomes' dad trolling an entire city and lost a fan $1 million, it had fans threatening to have somebody killed. What caused all of that was crazy, man, and it happened during the 2024 AFC Championship. It was Chiefs vs. Bills, and many believe this could finally be Buffalo's time to win, until the refs started getting a little too involved. From the Bills getting a face mask penalty even though both players were giving each other face, to multiple blocks in the back during the Chiefs' punt return that wasn't called. Refs even let the Chiefs run the play clock out before the game clock, which should have been a delay of game. But those weren't even the craziest calls of the night. These next ones were some of the worst in NFL history. Starting with the refs calling this a catch when replays clearly showed the ball hit the ground. They also called holding on the Bills just in case they couldn't rig it as a catch, and after challenging the call, it even looked more like an interception than a catch anyways, but the Chiefs still won that call and it led to a touchdown. And on this play, anybody with eyeballs could see that he clearly got it over the line. I mean, there was even a live tracker showing that it should have been a first down. Instead, the ref said the ball never crossed over, and now it was magically Chiefs ball. God, man, all these terrible calls not only eventually led to the Chiefs winning the game, of course. It had Mahomes' dad tweeting, "Today's a great day to not be from Buffalo." It had a fan lose a bet worth $1 million.
Something the refs should be in fucking prison. Refs should be in prison. That 4th down spot changed the whole game.
And worst of all, once a former NFL player blamed Josh Allen for the loss even though it was obviously the ref's fault.
Josh Allen actually could have adjusted the protection.
Fans got on his ass so much that he eventually tweeted, "No amount of death threats or personal attacks will make me shy away from giving the people the insight they deserve." Now, I don't know if dude is slow or something, but people really wanted to kill that man over what the refs did. Anyways, refs also helped the Chiefs do something another time, and honestly, this helped the situation become so historic, it made NFL history. Obviously, it shouldn't have even happened, but after ending the 2023 playoffs winning all 3 games by only a few points, not only did fans notice that even though refs were helping the Chiefs, they were still barely winning. And coming into the next season, refs still made sure to keep the Chiefs' winning streak going as long as possible. In week 1, refs called this a horse collar tackle on the Ravens, even though dude barely grabbed the jersey. In week 2, refs didn't throw a flag on multiple Chiefs players who all held during a crucial play. Week 3 had refs not calling pass interference when a Chiefs player tackled his opponent with the game on the line. In week 9, refs stopped the Buccaneers from scoring when they called this a face mask, which it clearly wasn't. In week 10, the Broncos got a huge sack that would have forced a punt, just for refs to say this was illegal contact to wipe it all away. And that horrible call not only led to the Chiefs' only touchdown of the game, of course a call like that happened during the game where the Broncos almost ended the winning streak. But the craziest call of them all came in week 13, when the Raiders were in position to kick a game-winning field goal. Right when a play started, one ref called the play dead for a false start on the Raiders, which was actually correct for once. Until the call was changed to an illegal shift, which meant the play wasn't dead, even Mahomes couldn't believe it. And since the Chiefs recovered the fumble that declined this penalty that shouldn't have even been changed anyway, this led to the game being over and Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. But fuck the Chiefs, man. Refs also rigged things for other teams, like when they let CeeDee Lamb get exposed in front of an entire NFL stadium. Because towards the end of a close game, the Cowboys ran a play where they were about to take the lead, when the ref apparently didn't even notice CeeDee getting his damn pants pulled down. Like, what? That was ass! Or at least pass interference, and the refs clearly saw that. But since no flag was thrown like it should have been, and that led to the Cowboys not even scoring on that play, it not only wasted enough time causing them to eventually lose, people were pissed saying it looked rigged, claiming the NFL looked like the WWE now, and even had fans tracking down one of the main refs' locations and finding out he was from Florida, just 20 minutes away from where this game was played, and they felt that he was just trying to rig the game to make his hometown win. But even though CeeDee got his ass whipped out on live TV, that's not even close to some of the most rigged moments in NFL history later in this video. Like, there's NFL players who literally paid refs. There's even a rigged moment that made somebody over $1 billion and so much more. But before we get to those, another rigged moment got a player fined over $15,000. That massive hit on Drew Brees caused the fumble, then got Ahmad Brooks flagged for contact to the neck of the quarterback. But after checking the replay, Ahmad's arm wrapped around the top of Brees' chest, not his neck, so the call was wrong. That call gave the Saints another opportunity, and it eventually led to them winning the game. Man, I already know 49ers fans were like, because people immediately felt like the NFL told refs to rig moments like this just to protect quarterbacks. Articles were written about how Brees got star treatment. Then other NFL legends came out saying it was a clean hit and the refs just baby the quarterbacks. But once the man who actually made the tackle said, "I think this is bullshit, football's watered down, it ain't real no more," the NFL decided to review the play and possibly get things right now. But did they? Hell nah, they made the situation even worse. Now the league itself even claimed that Ahmad made forcible contact to the head or neck area and fined him almost $16,000. 16 bans? All because of what he did with his hands? Well, that's not as crazy as the NFL's own equipment rig in a game, just to lose this next player a chance at making NFL history. That bullshit happened to Vikings kicker Will Reichert, because through the first 4 weeks of the season, this white boy wasn't just 7 for 7 on field goal attempts and 9 for 9 on extra points, aka 100%. He was so on fire that he even kicked a 62-yarder, the longest field goal in Vikings history. But that wasn't the only history he was chasing. Will was trying to become the second Viking ever to not miss a single kick all season. So when his squad hopped on a jet and traveled all the way to London for an international game, things were close between them and the Browns when Will lined up for a kick to tie the game up. But that's when... Whoa, wait a minute, go back. Did you see it? Looking closer, he didn't just miss the kick that bad on accident. The ball actually hit the NFL's camera wire, causing it to ricochet, which, according to NFL rules, this should have allowed a re-kick. But since the refs claimed it was just a miss, even though they reviewed it, now a legendary moment was ruined. Now, at least the NFL is lucky that it didn't completely ruin the game, cause the Vikings still ended up winning in the end. But that didn't stop plenty of fans pointing out how the NFL's caption on the highlights ironically said this game went down to the wire, feeling like the NFL used their own equipment to rig the outcome of games. And they even said you better subscribe if you want that FieldFlix face reveal. What are you doing? Subscribe! Alright, they didn't say that, but they did say a rigged moment cost Will a chance at making some crazy NFL history. But as wild as that was, I never ever thought the Chiefs would get away with their rigged moments, or a moment so rigged that it made someone over $1 billion. Which I'll tell you all about after this next NFL team actually rigged moments using fake fans. I didn't even know that was possible, but that happened because at the time, the Rams weren't known for having diehard fans who'd fill their home stadium, which left plenty of seats open for opposing fans. That's why during a game between the Rams and 49ers, pretty much anywhere you looked, it was gold and red, because their stadium was completely taken over by 49ers fans. But weirdly enough, when the game started getting close, the Rams had a crucial third down where their fans got overly hyped. Okay, somehow the crowd was cheering louder than ever, even though there weren't that many fans, so things were getting suspicious. Someone even captured the moment from another angle, showing how the Rams must have been playing fake crowd noises.
None of these fans are making noise.
Alright, when I saw that, I was like,
What? Philadelphia! Oh, hell no!
because people weren't even standing or seemed to give a single shit about the game, which proved the Rams weren't just playing fake crowd cheers. They had to be doing it during big moments just to get their players feeling like they had great home field advantage, aka trying to rig the outcome.
They play fake crowd noise because their crowd isn't that turned.
They're playing fake crowd noise?
Yeah,
that's so weird.
Because on third downs, you see the crowd is sitting down, but somehow there's noise coming from somewhere. So we're just looking around last year. We're like, hold on, that noise is coming from the speakers because this crowd nobody's turned up right now.
Nobody's screaming, yeah.
Man, if even other NFL players think the Rams are cheating, what if I told you the greatest player in NFL history only became the GOAT because the NFL forced him into becoming that with rigged moments? Tom motherfucking Brady. You already know who this story's about. For literally years, I've seen stories about the NFL rigging moments for Brady to become the best and doing whatever they could to make him their golden child. So I definitely wasn't surprised when even Brady himself admitted that a career-changing moment should have never even happened. He was just trying to go to his 5th Super Bowl, but the only team he needed to get through was the Jaguars. Now, they've always been ass and they're known as choke artists who've never even made it to a Super Bowl, so I definitely expected them to get blown out. But that's when the Jags came out putting belt to ass while easily scoring touchdowns and field goals until eventually Brady was down 10 with not that much time left. So now with the Patriots desperately needing a spark, that's when his squad ran a crazy trick play where his teammate eventually ended up getting the ball stripped away. But that stupid ass ref thought the Jaguars player was touched while he was down, so the play was ruled dead, when in reality, he wasn't even and should have been able to run it all the way back for a touchdown to give the Jags a 17-point lead, which would have basically secured the win. This wrong call was about to change the entire game, and the players knew it, so I am not shocked the player spiked the ball and damn near punched someone in the head. Now the momentum completely flipped, the Patriots got the ball back, and of course, they scored 14 straight points in a crazy comeback to eventually win. That not only sent Brady to the Super Bowl where he won his 5th ring, the craziest part is that even Brady admitted that the refs helped him get there.
2017 AFC Championship game. And the Jags fans probably love this. I'll take opportunity. Miles Jack, was he down?
On the, oh no, I don't think he was down. Oh God, I don't think we were catching him either. I ran over, I sure as hell wasn't gonna tackle him.
Thank you, Jaguars Nation, there you go.
I know.
It's not your fault, it's the ref's fault.
I know.
But honestly, rigging things for one player is not as crazy as the NFL trying to rig a Super Bowl just to make themselves over $1 billion. February 3rd, 2013, here in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Ravens were taking on the 49ers, which was supposed to be one of the most entertaining Super Bowls of all time, until the Ravens came out dominating by throwing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and even scoring on a 109-yard kickoff return, which was the longest in NFL history. Oh my God. Now, even though I was in my room dancing like this when my Ravens were up 28-6, the NFL felt like a blowout would make any other fans lose interest or stop watching in the second half, so they had to act fast. And out of absolutely nowhere, lights went out due to a faulty device that caused a power outage. Now, something blacking out during the biggest game of the year? I thought only I'd do something like that. But the game was now delayed for 34 straight minutes and was about to change the course of the NFL forever. Because once things recovered, the momentum was completely out of the Ravens' favor. The 49ers immediately started dominating to score 17 unanswered points and had them start making a comeback. But in the end, even though my Ravens were still able to luckily pull off a win, the NFL rigging the game with lights caused some never-before-seen drama and made the game way more entertaining and viral, which was exactly what the NFL wanted. Because now more fans tuned in on different networks to watch the second half, way more commercials were able to play. And that's only a few of the main reasons that led to the NFL making around $1.3 billion during the Super Bowl. But it was not just me or fans feeling like the game was rigged to keep them watching. Even the Ravens' star player knew the lights going out was on purpose.
A lot of things have happened in 100 years, but only once has there been a Super Bowl where the lights go out. There's a little bit of a flow.
You need to tell me straight up right now who made that call.
I don't know.
$1 billion stadium, lights ain't going out, Peyton, unless something is at risk. Guys, this is an executive decision. Hit the lights.
It's like...
Man, that's crazy, but for $1 billion, I'd do a lot of things. Anyways, and speaking of money, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs being involved in 3 other rigged moments involve paying the refs and one of the most hated NFL fans of all time, Taylor Swift. Their first rig moment is actually a time the refs purposely let the Chiefs go against NFL rules. They were down in a close game when out of nowhere, a ball boy got a ref's attention to help the coach call a timeout. Now, even though NFL rules explicitly prohibit ball boys from assisting in calling timeouts, somehow it was granted. The Chiefs were able to re-strategize, then a few plays later, they scored the go-ahead touchdown. Eventually they won? Basically all because of that rule-breaking timeout that led to a score. So fans started crashing out saying, "Rigged for Chiefs, this is illegal," and even claimed the refs let them blatantly cheat. But it's not just fans speaking out about the Chiefs' rigged moments. Their second one came when an NFL star had something to say when the NFL rigged a game involving Taylor Swift. It's been an absolute known fact that the moment she started coming to Chiefs games, the NFL didn't just post her on their socials 34 times, which got 170 million impressions. Travis Kelce's jersey sales jumped 400%, and data was showing that the NFL gained 4 million new female fans. Even the commissioner was saying, "We see the data. People are talking about the game that weren't talking about it yesterday, and whatever that reason is, I'm good with it." So they obviously wanted to do whatever they could to keep the hype going and keep Taylor coming to stadiums, which had them rig another game. It was late where the Jets had a chance to beat the Chiefs, especially when Mahomes had to get an extremely long first down. But somehow, they got a wide open area to run and ended up getting that first down? How was that even possible? Well, wait, I know how. It's because a Jets player was being held more than anyone I've ever seen before, and all of that happened right in front of the ref. Now, if that moment didn't feel rigged enough, not long after, the Chiefs were stuck with another long third down where this time, Mahomes threw an interception. Here I thought nothing could save Mahomes since it definitely should have given the Jets the ball. But as soon as the ref saw his opponents caught it, man, of course he threw a flag. I was thinking, on who and for what? Because this shit was getting out of hand, especially after the ref claimed Sauce Gardner was holding during this? Oh my, that bad call gave Mahomes a do-over, whatever that is, which he of course used to drive down the field, waste the clock, and eventually win the game again. But to make things even crazier, the NFL damn near ratted on themselves for wanting the Chiefs to win by putting Chiefs are 2-0 as Swifties in their official Instagram bio, which led to Sauce tweeting, maybe if I was a Swiftie, the ref wouldn't have threw the flag. That is insane. But refs rigging 1 or 2 games for the Chiefs, that's not as crazy as this final moment that's 17 times crazier, and will definitely expose Mahomes for paying the refs because they've been rigging things for him to be better than he actually is. Just like the called back interception versus the Jets that we just talked about, people are getting absolutely sick of seeing Mahomes get lucky when he made a terrible play. Even one nerdy fan dug deep and found out that since 2018, Mahomes leads the league in interceptions that were called back, aka the refs preventing them from even happening. From making a bad throw, then his opponent's getting a flag for illegal contact, when it was actually the Chiefs player who threw someone to the ground, to Mahomes throwing an interception, then getting bailed out by a soft roughing the passer penalty, which even the player knew was bullshit. There were also multiple interceptions that Mahomes threw that were called back because of pass interference, or a player barely being touched when the throw was just bad, got called a penalty. Like, bro, there is no fucking way this nonsense is called in some of the biggest moments. And even though all these made me look at the refs like, You're a pussy. The refs have been rigging so many moments for Mahomes that since 2018, he leads the league in interceptions being called back with not like 6 or 7, but 17. So he's gotta secretly be paying off refs when nobody's looking, or one of his teammates is, cause we've definitely seen refs get money before, but you've never seen this before, so I'll see you there, you know what to do.